Thank you very much, and I'm also going to try to go without the microphone, and if you can't hear me, then please interrupt me. I just want to take a minute to thank the Innovation Transfer Network for the invitation to speak here today. For the students in the audience, I guess you're partly on your way to recognizing that this is a great thing. It's all about the network, being collaborative, being involved in these types of things, meeting scientists, clinicians, business people, investors, very important stuff. So thanks very much for coming. We're very appreciative of the efforts of the sponsors and groups like Innovation Transfer Network. Believe it or not, I don't have a picture of the Da Vinci robot. You can just go to any billboard, within a couple miles of any hospital and get some pictures of those sorts of things if you like. I was asked to just give a few slides on some things we're doing, which I'm happy to do, and we can take it from there. We do some technology and innovation within the Department of Surgery at Hershey, and I participate and organize that group. I also am the chief of our minimally invasive and bariatric surgery service, so that's what I do in my day job. Just disclosures, nothing important here. Unfortunately, what I'm going to talk about is not available for sale. We've been involved with surgical robotics at Hershey for actually a long time. We were one of the early adopters. This is Ralph Damiano sitting at the console of a computer motion Zeus robot, which was acquired by Intuitive. The company was acquired and the technology was acquired by Intuitive that makes the Da Vinci robot. But we had this device in the lab several years before this, which was when he was doing the first FDA-approved coronary artery bypass surgery using a surgical robot. And this was, as you can see, going on 14 years ago. So we've been involved with this. We've understood the field a bit. Interestingly enough, we've been late adopters clinically other than this, and we can talk about why. But we've been involved with this for some time. In medicine, somehow we've looked at robots very differently, I think, than most industries. And again, I mentioned billboards with some purpose, and the understanding in the field, the understanding of the public about what a medical or surgical robot may do is a little bit confusing at times, to say the least. But whenever I think about these, okay, if we're going to use a robot to treat patients, why would we do that? And what are robots good at? Well, they could be cost effective, they could be low maintenance, they could work in hazardous conditions, they defuse bombs and go down to coal mines, they can work 24/7, repetitive tasks, putting little microchips together. They also are capable of high precision, high precision and reproducibility, and reduced human variability. And I think that's kind of where we want to see some of the medical surgical robots going. And so this is some of the areas that we've worked on. I do abdominal surgery for a living. When you see the Da Vinci on the billboard, that was developed primarily to do surgery in the abdominal cavity and the thoracic cavity. You probably know there are robots that do orthopedic surgery. There are Gamma knives, which are essentially robots. Very, very different. So as we develop these things, how can we reproduce the day-to-day operations we do? Gallbladders, hernias, lung cases, in these large spaces. These large spaces are a problem for a lot of robots. They're big open spaces with relatively few points of fixation and registration. They move. The organs in the bowels inside, I mean, the bowels are all squishy and they float around. They're semi-fluid. You may need to retract these organs. And one interesting factor is that most of the operations we do, I mean, please don't tell any surgeons I said this, but there's relatively little need for ultra-high precision. We think of surgery as being precise, and it is, but it's not nanoscale precise. It's not even mostly sub-millimeter precise. It's around a millimeter precise, where you put sutures and where you make cuts and things like that. So again, what are robots good at, and what are our needs? So here's just my impression of what some of the quantum leaps could be in surgical robots. And I've underlined a couple because we've thought about these things and even done some work in this area. And they are safety, right? Everybody wants safety, you know, that's paramount. And I put registration in there. How are our robots going to enhance what we do and not be a liability? How can there not be a malfunction and create damage? There needs to be better instrumentation for end effectors, dexterity, the ability to do not just ultra-precise surgery, but macro surgery. Again, how do we take out a big chunk of liver or a big tumor or a section of colon? And again, repetitive task execution. I want this piece of valve to be removed. Well, can I press a button and, you know, and put it back together? That would be great. I think that there is a need for flexibility, flexible instrumentation, extended reach, and I'll talk on that in just a second, and a need for compelling ergonomics. If I'm working, you know, upside down, you know, from here to there, can I understand that environment and can I work within that environment? I won't go into that, but it's not as straightforward as you may think. So here's some of the things we've done over the years, what I've been asked to talk about. This work was in conjunction with Dr. Mary Frecker, primarily at Penn State main campus in mechanical engineering. And we've done work on compliant mechanisms, basically solid semi-elastic materials, hingeless materials that when you push on them in one way, they deflect and deform and create force to enact a task. And as you may think, without hinges, without multiple components, there's an ease of manufacturing issue, there's a scalable issue or benefit. There's a multifunctionality benefit, which we'll talk about. And there's also a sterility benefit. So if you're going to reuse some of these instruments, you like not to have little hinges and pins and joints where blood and bacteria and other gunk can accumulate. And this is a little bit more of an advanced slide of what we did, taking what we saw before. So Dr. Frecker, you know, took our specs, modeled this into this block, and actually a substantial value of what we created with this project is her modeling algorithms of these compliant mechanisms. So you turn this into something that looks more like an instrument, and this instrument, by pushing on it this way, will open, you push on it that way, will close, and you push on it a different way, will now actuate independently and scissor. So this was an early work to create a combined grasper scissors by pushing on it different ways. And we manufactured these things, and we did a whole lot of engineering type testing on them, and when we worked with Alcon on this, we worked with Specialty Blades in Stanton, Virginia. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten these to market, but we'll keep working on it. This is something we've done within our surgery innovation group within the medical center, and this is this extended reach or dexterity. As you know, a lot of straightforward open surgery or laparoscopic minimally invasive surgery, we put holes in people and we put rigid instruments in and accomplish the operation. As many, you may have heard of natural orifice surgery, NOTES, transoral surgery. It would be a huge benefit to be able to take somebody's gallbladder out through the mouth, put an instrument in, maybe a robot, in through, penetrate the wall of the stomach, find the gallbladder, take it out, bring it out. People have done this clinically. I don't know if you heard that, it's been on television. Transvaginally removing gallbladders, transorally removing part of the uterus, it can be done. There are some significant instrumentation issues, and one solution would be these snake robots, or better described, path-following robots. So if I steer the head of this snake to a spot, the remainder of the segments follow along that same path, right? Because if I go through the mouth and your esophagus and your stomach, I don't want the robot to then apply force to tear that. I want it to follow in an atraumatic fashion to the target organ where we're going to go. So then there's a lot of technology out there. There's a lot of IP on this. CMU is doing a lot of work, but interestingly enough, we developed, well, we designed our own. We didn't develop it, we didn't build it, but this is our snake robot. This was, CAD, of course, and I'm not going to show you, but the technology, of course, lies in between these segments where you can't see and where I'm not showing you. Again, we designed this, we pursued it, we elected not to pursue this project, we shelved it, basically based on the Occam's razor principle we heard in the keynote speaker, Dr. Hernandez. We actually figured out we could probably achieve this through much, much simpler technologies. There's a big barrier to the development of barriers to the development of something like this in a commercial product. And we can talk about that. And that's about it. I'll stop there and take questions.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.